Wow, I love the diversity in this room. I mean, like, this is what the United Nations must seem like, giving an address there. The other potential is that it could be LinkedIn. So many corporate folk in one place. What are the chances? But you know what? You guys are the cool bunch. Out there, when you look at LinkedIn, it's quite a corporate circus. You look at people and things they say and they do. I know there are like millions of people there, but I see 3 people. And 3 very distinct people. First one, the one that comes and says, congrats on your job anniversary. Great, it was nice to meet you. They never meet you, they never speak to you, nothing. And that's it, there's just one message a year and they vanish. They think that acing networking, well, newsflash, they're not. The second ones are the ones, the leadership gurus, right? Who are going to turn every, last night's headlines, today's news, a trip to the zoo to see the silverback gorilla into one, management lesson that you have to learn. It's nothing like that. It's actually quite bad when they do that. And the third, the ones who leave thousands of likes, comments, saying, that is so impactful, that is so wonderful. And that's all they do. They don't add any value to what you're saying or to what you're doing. That's the third kind of person. And so these are people, it makes me wonder, these are people who actually in their personal lives are telling stories to everybody, their parents, their partners, their kids even, and their friends also. But if they're doing it all the time, shouldn't they be great at storytelling? Sadly, they're not. They're all trying to be this insightful, impactful, empathetic, really wonderful human being on LinkedIn. I mean, they're like this really healthy salad, but no dressing, no spice, no personality. And so to them, I want to say that, you know what? You got to tell stories. Because when you tell stories, you do well. You do well at life, right? And there might be 3 reasons why they're not doing this. 1, potentially they're saying, who wants to hear my story? I'm not interested in saying it. I get it. Second type, who might be saying, hey, you know what? I want to tell stories, but I'm going to suck at it. Okay. You're honest. We get it. And the third kind, who are like saying, I want to tell my story, but here's the deal. I don't know how. There's hope. And there's not hope for the last one, but all 3 of them. Today, we're going to change the way you tell stories. Because when you tell stories, you win business. You tell the person you love, you get the person you love to marry you or to fall in love with you. You convince your children that you are the world's greatest dad or mom for a little while, right? So stories are how we kind of find a place in the world. And it's important that we tell the right kind of stories. So so I have a question, So all of you are telling stories all the time, but what are the stories that you're telling yourself? Really, I mean, because these stories have the power to change your life and even hold you back. So when you tell these stories to yourself, you do realize that it's going to be very difficult for you to emerge victorious in life if you don't tell the right stories. I'm a movie buff. Okay, I work in the movies, I live and I breathe movies, and when I look at movies and what they've taught me, there's one central thing that stays with me, and it's the fact that we are all in our own movie. Our life is our one big movie. But you know what surprises me is the fact that we're not busy playing the hero. We're busy playing the side character in our own movie. That's quite sad, right? I mean, think about it. It's our movie, you're writing it, you're directing it, you're acting in it, but you don't want to be the central character. You want to be here and not here. Why would you do that? So, and I dug in a little bit more to see what's behind this. And I've come to the conclusion that there's only one thing that happens, and that happens to your favorite character in every film that you watched. I'll start with my favorite film. I'm going to ask you to guess the name of the movie. I'll do something. And you got to guess it fast, because if you don't, I'm going to fall down on stage. Okay? So here goes. This is the movie. What? Oh, yeah, Matrix. So that's my favorite movie. Thank you. You ensured I didn't fall. So in the Matrix, the central character, Neo, right? He's like this guy who's supposed to save the world, and he's the one and all of that. So he has this chance to actually go and meet the oracle. And because he doesn't believe in himself, Morpheus, his friend, takes him to the oracle and says, go meet her. You'll feel better. And the oracle is this person who knows the past, the present, the future, and everything. And she takes one look at him and she says, this most memorable line, I love this line in the film, right? She says, sorry, kid, you got the gift, but you're waiting for something. And that's belief. Belief is the crux of this matter. If you do not believe, you're not going to tell stories, and not going to tell good stories. Because when it comes to putting ourselves out there, we somehow always fall short. And so, how do we build this belief? One might ask. Is it difficult? Is it easy? I'll tell you it's possible. A little difficult for some, a little easy for some, but it's possible for everybody. Right? You need to tell the story of your life to yourself again and again, frequently. Because stories are powerful. They have the innate power to change your attitudes. You know, you can use a story, if you tell it frequently enough to yourself, you can change your reality. The brain gets confused. It can't tell if this is fiction or truth. That's how powerful stories are. And if that's how powerful they are, let's try and tell a better story. Let me start with mine. One little story of mine. Okay? So this is way back in the 80s. Things were very different back then. I'm 8 years old. I'm probably this much. And I'm stranded at a bus station with my mom. So both of us are standing there and wondering, where the hell is the bus? The bus was supposed to come 2 hours ago. The bus didn't turn up, right? And we're waiting, and then we learn, we get some bad news. Because, bad news has a wonderful way of arriving on time, always, even if the bus doesn't. So we get to know that there's this festival in another city where everyone's, going there from across the country. And so all buses have been rerouted there. So we learn that there's going to be no bus to get back home to my granny's place. We are in an alien city. We only know the language. We know nobody there. And guess what? We don't have more than the bus ticket money to stay for 2 days, because the following day is also going to be a holiday. So there's going to be no buses. So we can't rent a hotel. We're actually deeply stranded out there. And so this is obviously the 80s, right? Things were different back then. And I'm this little kid over there, and I'm in completely in fear, and I don't know what's going to happen. What will happen to the two of us? I think this is the end. I am going through stress, high cortisol levels, high blood pressure levels at the age of 8, and I ask my mother, and I tell my mother, that, Mom, I'm really scared. I feel like crying, and she says, like any other reassuring adult would say, it's okay, you're going to be fine. Well, guess what? The bus drivers come, and then we go knocking, and then we ask somebody, and all the bus drivers together are meeting at some intersection to exchange passengers. Finally, we got home. We went home, and we reached really late. And this story didn't make much sense till many years. But when I look back at it, many, many years later, I remembered that it was the day that I learned that it's okay to be in that space, but it's also important to try new things and get over your fear of such moments, because that's where your true character lies, right? And you may have many films or moments in your life where that may have gone wrong, but it's about revisiting those parts, rewatching them. Now I tell that story very differently. I say it like I was a superhero. I actually went and I knocked on every bus door, and I spoke to everybody, and I killed it there, and I got everyone aboard, and then the buses said that we'll drop you home, all of that. And that's what I've done on my life. It's made me fearless. It's made me a storyteller. And I tell you to tell your own story, because when you tell your story, what happens is that you become the hero of your movie. And when you become the hero of your movie, others will tell your story. Thank you.